one of the perceptions or misperceptions, and you pointed out that some of your fans are young. You know, you've got some 10-year-olds, some 12-year-olds. Some of those fans can't buy this game. In some of these countries, for instance, you know, Canada, for instance, or even Australia, there's going to be people that are going to say, these kids are too young to play it. Clearly, this is a sport, though. This is not, you know, this is martial arts. What do you have to say in terms of your perceptions, in terms of your own personal experiences, in some of the education, either through the game or through your own outreach, the challenges that you've had, and I guess trying to convince people that this is an actual sport, that kids, you know, they shouldn't look at this and brand it as something, as an endeavor. What do you say to folks who are trying to stop people from playing this game?
I think that people who still aren't regarding mixed martial arts as a sport are still, you know, just being ignorant to it. They're not going out and being proactive about learning the ins and outs of the sport and seeing what kind of hard work we put behind it. And I think, you know, if they were to do that, then they'd have a lot more respect for it, and you know, they'd realize that it's not this, you know, it's not this blood sport that they're building it up to be in their minds.
I'd first just find out what side they stand on different issues. For example, like, I mean, if they're individuals who, their kids play first-person shooters and they play football games, and then they're going to tell me that you know, the UFC game is too violent, then I can have an argument for that individual just to let them know that it is obviously a misconception, that it's a contact sport between two adults, that obviously everything's agreed to and it's no more violent, and obviously their children are playing first-person shooters and they're not out in the street trying to shoot anybody. That being said, though, if they're the type of individual that, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh is too violent for their children, then I'm pretty much not going to say anything to the person. I'm just going to be like, well, you know, that's, yeah.
You know, as with, you know, even kids watching UFC on TV, I think, you know, a little bit of, you know, parental guidance as to, you know, the context of what we're doing is, you know, is necessary. You know, just, you know, it's not just two guys, you know, beat each other up because they're angry or whatever. It's, you know, it's sanctioned. You know, it is a sport, as is, you know, hockey or, you know, football or soccer, whatever.
Based on the skills I learned here today and my own athletic prowess, do you think I could take Dana White in a UFC fight?
There's not a lot you can't do with those glasses on.
I always loved you. You should have been on the cover again this year.
So how about another question? THQ makes another amazing game, and that's the WWE game. But I only have money for one. Why should we buy the UFC game instead of the WWE game? So that's sort of kind of also asking, you know, back in the days, WWE wrestling was kind of cool, and now UFC is the shit.
Well, here's what I think it comes down to. Do you want to pretend to fight for real, or do you want to pretend to fight for pretend?
That's exactly what I wanted to hear. Thank you for that quote.
All right, gentlemen, so this year's game is in the can. It's out. It's going to be hitting the streets soon. What would you guys like to see in next year's game? Because it's probably going to, assuming that there is...
I'd like to see a Sam Stone and Johnny Hendricks character.
We haven't seen this game yet, so we don't know how much has evolved from the last game. You know, as long as they keep making it more fluid and better to play with, you know, making it more fun for everybody, you know, the online playing and everything where you can't back out of a match, and you know what I mean? I hate that. You're beating somebody up and then all of a sudden they back out and you know, it's a draw. As long as they keep that up, I think it's just going to keep improving and getting better and better.
Is that like a thing you can do in real fighting? Just back out?
Yeah, I know, that's right.
So we got to learn from a lot of really awesome trainers today. What do you guys look for in a trainer?
Commitment.
I think communication is extraordinarily important. I think you can have two guys that can know different, you know, skill sets. You have, you know, different coaches for different people. And I think on all sports and all athleticism, I think it just comes down to communication. Certain people can talk to other people, and you know, and vice versa.
I think trust in your coach is one of the most important things to, you know, trust in the fact that he's going to, you know what's best for you, and he's going to know how to train you correctly, and he's not just going to, you know, train you like he trains everybody else. He's going to train you specifically for the way you need to be trained and for your opponent.
I look for someone that's clean, generally hygienic, and has a decent smell to him. I'm going to be spending a lot of time around this person. I like that.
Quick question here. Now we know that Brock Lesnar is the cover star for this year's UFC game. What lengths would you be willing to go to be the cover star for UFC Undisputed 2011?
Every time I talk about Brock Lesnar, I get in trouble, so.
What offers are on the table, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, you gotta throw something at us, and then, yeah, maybe, probably not, you know what I mean? So, you gotta throw something at us for us to be able to give you back something.
Yeah, I'd be willing to win fights. It's crazy.
I actually have a question from the live UFC Twitter feed right now. Are you guys gamers, and how much do you guys play?
6 hours a day. Yeah, no, I get home after training about 7:30. I hang out with my wife until about 10, and I don't go to bed until 3 to 4 o'clock in the morning.
What do you play?
Oh my God.
Call of Duty. COD 5 or 6. Zombies on 5. COD 6. Gotta play those little kids talking trash.
So now that the exclusive UFC community demo is going to be available later today, think you guys are going to check that out?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. We would have to.
Yeah. Whenever I get home, I'll be over.
It's always like, hey.
One more question from the Twitter feed. Besides yourselves, what other fighters would you play as in the game? Or what matchup would you like to see?
I've played with BJ. I've played with GSP, Anderson Silva. I mean, I've played with pretty much all of them. Like they were saying earlier, anybody with good stats, it's all about the W. You know, you don't want that L on your record.
Yeah, I actually found that Quentin was pretty good in the first game.
Knockout power.
Yeah, knock everybody out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
First 5 seconds.
Do you guys get to give any input of your character in game, like based on your stats and stuff like that? Do you have any say?
You don't really get to, I didn't get a chance to say, but you do get a chance to have whatever kind of facial hair you want on the game.
How closely do you guys think that either your character or the other characters that you fight against approximate your actual fighting style? Do you feel like it's pretty close to what you would do in the same situation, or is it kind of a, well, yeah, I wouldn't really be throwing strikes, I'd be trying to take him down or something like that?
Well, that would just depend on who's playing the character then, right?
Yeah. Well, like, you know, like say you're going in against somebody you've faced before, or you think you're going to face coming up. Do you think like the strategy they're employing against you is what they would do in real life, or are they just, you know, being a computer player and playing, you know, to knock you out, basically?
I have not a clue. I'm not a computer. But if I was one, I'd probably say he's probably playing I think they give you a certain, like, however, I think, like, whenever you get on there, you know, if you're 8-5 on your record, you know, they match you up to that style of fight. You know, they don't make you where you lose all the time or you're not going to play. You know what I mean? But they want it somewhat challenging where when you do get that win, you're really excited. You know what I mean? And if you do lose, oh, I barely lost, so you got to come back and play it again. You got to keep, you know what I mean, making yourself better.
Would you guys rather be remembered forever for one great knockout, or just you know, kind of talked about only with like the MMA crowd and have an awesome career and record?
Career. Yeah, it's better to be, longevity's better than being a kind of a flash in the pan.
Definitely. I was hoping to be remembered for my incredible sense of style.